We, Fabulous nuts. How are you? Good morning. Oh, it's probably afternoon now. I just got done my workshop and hopefully you can hear me. I'm working, but have you on in the background. Thank you so much. Uh, Today is going to be episode 6 of Alchemy Emotion. And this is where the fire becomes creation. So if people pop in and out, there'll be a little chit chat in between. I notice that happens a lot more, uh, obviously, because I'm live, but I love doing that and I like taking that time for people. So it's fantastic. Um, I'm working. Yeah, I did all my work already. Well, I can't say all my work. I did a lot of it, but I'm trying to hopefully get some of this caught up. I'll be live pretty much all week. And once I get all of my stuff caught up, because the spring break kind of took out took out all the extra time to get stuff done. So I'm not behind, but I'm not exactly where I need to be. So I have that extra space with Grace, but we're getting there. Why am I doing this the hard way? And you'll find that as I'm getting started, I tend to talk to myself a lot. So just bear with me here. I gotta mute myself. There we go. It's working. I don't know why on this phone I can never seem to see comments. Why are you gonna echo? It's working. I don't. There we go. Okay. I don't scare anybody. Give me just 1 second. I'm just gonna finish making my coffee and then. Today is the day. So when I do my on the phone, I can never see. Yeah, so I have to pull up the like YouTube on the computer so I can see the chat. And I don't know why. Like sometimes it'll pop up and I'll see one sentence and then there's like 20 things that have been said and I'm like, oh, I feel bad because I don't want to ignore anybody. But we're getting there. So this one is going to be episode 6. So there's only 4 more to go. Fire become still point. 3 more to go. 6 or 7. Mind crawler. Hello, welcome. I love that name. I hope you're doing well today. So yes, this is the Alchemy Emotion series, and then the rest of the week until I guess Friday's almost here. My lord, it's going to be 3 days of this just to even it out. Um, and then I have still my monthly the action steps because a big focus is always going to be self love, gratitude, affirmations. Affirmations are the best thing in the whole world. Uh, that is what I do. Yeah, I have to because I don't know. I have glasses that I'm supposed to wear, but they don't. Um, they give me headaches and stuff now, so I have to get my butt back to the eye doctor. And maybe I'm just getting older, or maybe my eyes are getting better. That's what I'm gonna hope. I can be delusional sometimes. It's okay. So I'm gonna get started just a little bit here. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that this is something that I very much take a lot of pride in. I've worked very hard through this, forward, backwards, blindfolded, like crawling through the mud. I know um, every nuance, all the aspects of emotional awareness. I cannot do bifocals. I have to do something. I gotta get new glasses. Otherwise, I'm like this all day and I can't see. So I have stages in how I did this, and the reason I did that was uh, to keep it very simple. The one thing that people forget is we do a lot of these things on a regular basis. normally, right? The problem is uh, we don't recognize that they're a tool. We just let it slide. We don't think about it. And the biggest thing is we don't celebrate ourselves when we do it. The more you wear them, the more your eyes depend. Yeah, I haven't been wearing them, but I'm struggling. I just squint a lot, which is okay. See, it's running over here, and my phone only tells me a little bit. So hold on. The more you wear, the more it's penned. Luna, hello, welcome, welcome. White girl magic, I love it. Race and IQ question. Which parent's genes are said to have the strongest influence on the IQ of offspring, especially boys? I would think the mom. Uh, but which race scores lowest on IQ testing? I have no idea. That one I have no idea. I've never even looked into it. So I couldn't give you a valid answer. But I know that usually especially the boys, it seems to be that the women, they get their smarts from the women, and by that I mean the critical thinking. Like men are very critical thinkers too, so I'm not trying to detract from that. But when you look at their mannerisms and stuff like that, you can see they usually get more from the women's side, I would think. Thank you, Luna. I appreciate that. My printer is going nuts today. It froze earlier, and then I canceled all the print things I was printing, and apparently it didn't cancel it, so it just goes back and forth. So, um, I'm 48, and I found it hard to read labels on cans. I'm 44. I had to think about that, Lord. And I struggle too, so don't feel bad. But I'm wearing glasses a lot lately. I have my glasses. The only reason I'm not wearing them is because they've been giving me headaches. So I don't know. And I haven't been in a couple of years, so I definitely need to go back because maybe they just need to be adjusted. You're so pretty. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. I'm in my house coat, but I promise I'm in my day clothes ready to go. But it gets a little chilly still in the mornings, and I don't like to be chilly when I have to sit still. So I put my house coat on so I can be nice and cozy. All right. I want to talk just a little bit about the alchemy emotion. This is actually my favorite part of it. So when you go back and forth, and if you look at some of my older stuff, you'll see that the fire and flow talks about the information. So each emotion, each thing that we're thinking, that we're dealing with, uh, each emotion, each trigger, each problem, even things that aren't a problem, but our body sometimes recognizes it as a problem, uh, is giving you information, and it's something that needs to be healed. And then the next one I did, the grace and the grind, was learning how to give yourself grace before you give anybody else grace. Learning how to give yourself grace and understanding that the expectation versus capacity, understanding that you don't need to compare to anybody else. Your journey is your journey, and no matter where you are on it, you're exactly where you need to be because there's just something that you need to learn. And when you can start looking at it from that aspect, it changes your perspective greatly. Nice to meet all of you. Yes, it's nice to meet you too. Um, and then there was the accountability, which is really important, accountability without self punishment. We all, I don't want to overgeneralize, but many of us, uh, we relate accountability to punishment, right? Like you're going to go to jail, or you're going to be grounded, or you're going to lose this. So when people think about being accountable, automatically their body, their mind, everything in their being doesn't want to be accountable. It avoids it. And it's a protection thing. Uh, See, Death, how are you? Good morning. Welcome, welcome. I guess it's good afternoon there, huh? Still morning here. But we go, how are you? Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. So, the best way to explain it is when we're reframing accountability and we think about it, um, accountability could just be like, hey, I'm not feeling at my best today. I feel kind of tired, not feeling great. So, do I have the capacity to go do this huge workshop, jump in with 100 people and deal with all these people? Uh, Do I have the capacity to do that? No, so I'm not going to do that. Why is my computer doing whatever it wants? Do I have the. Hold on. There we go. I don't know why it's doing it. My computer is losing 4:15 a.m. Oh, either you're getting up, still at work. Oh, night shift. I did that for many, many years. Many, many, many years. I'm so glad I don't have to anymore. And you know what? It was funny because I just put on my work boots the other day while we were digging in the garden. Uh, I just put them on yesterday, and I'm like, they were brand new. And my last job, well, probably a couple months old, but they've been in my closet for almost 2 years. I haven't put them on. And trust me, I did all kinds of heavy lifting, construction work, all of the things, machinery. I did it all. And I put them work boots on. And I was like, man, it's been a while since I did that. And I kind of had to laugh a little bit because I was like, uh, when you kind of soften up, you're like, you don't want to do that anymore. It was fun. We was just working in the garden, but uh, putting on the steel toe boots. It's like, what is this? I don't want to do this anymore. You work while you sleep. Well, that's pretty awesome. I wish I could. Actually, I do. That's where my best ideas come from. Uh, my surgery is coming. Yes, I know. Did you figure out what day it was? How are you, Maya? You have to let me know, and I'm definitely gonna put in some extra prayers. I already did. I'm a little different than most people. I don't pray in the morning at night. I talk to God all day long. This Wednesday? Oh, next Wednesday, I guess. Today's Wednesday. So next Wednesday, right? Don't confuse me now. My brain only focuses on one or two things at a time. After that, it's all over. Okay, next Wednesday. I'm marking it down. And I will be checking in too. I want to make sure you're doing okay. Lots of rest, extra rest. Do whatever you got to do, right? I'll be sending out good vibes for you, healing fast. You got this. You know I got you. All right. So when we talk about the personal accountability, the struggle was uh, reframing it, right? So this is what I worked really hard on that one to do. Is understanding that accountability isn't going to be grounded. You're not going to be kicked out of school. You're not going to jail. Well, I mean, unless you do some extreme things. But realistically, it's not there at all. Meritage Shades of Light. I love that name. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for stopping in. So when we reframe the accountability, and really think of it, we create that space where it's like, okay, what is my capacity today? Or something starts to feel like you start to feel anxious or a little nauseous in your stomach. Something is not right. Okay, being accountable is just saying, hey, why does that feel like that? What is going on? What is this trying to tell me? That's being accountable. And those small little things, those baby steps that sometimes we do, maybe we don't do it as much as we should, but those little things are tools. And when we start using them and celebrating them on a more regular basis, we create a space where we are alchemizing all of this information and doing it in motion. So it's a pause and possibly a pivot. It's never a stop, fall back down from the foundation, right? First word I spelled was death. 4 years old. You must have scared the crap out of your parents. They were like, what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't giggle at that, but I'm like, your parents were like, what's going on here? Oh, sometimes we have to laugh at those things because when you look back and you think like, what were my parents thinking? And I know I did some weird stuff. Listen, my daughter's first word was a very bad word, uh, and she said it while we were in an Uber, and I was like, that's karma. I was like, I don't know where she learned that, and then I was like, I told the Uber driver, when God says maybe we should start paying attention to the things we say, uh, this was like, it was the lesson. You didn't want to hear that? Okay, stop saying that. So, your stepfather died what day? Oh, I missed something. He died the day that you wrote the word? Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. Grief is one hard thing to move through. Gosh, you're beautiful. Oh, thank you. You're sweet. All right. And welcome, by the way. Welcome, welcome. So in the alchemy of motion, I went through all the phases, but this is kind of my favorite part because once you get past understanding the information, giving yourself grace, understanding the different triggers. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. It's a hard thing to adjust to, and it's a hard thing to understand when you're so little. And the good thing though is um, you allow yourself space to not be fearful, right? That's someone that you loved, and seeing them in a peaceful place would I would hopefully think would be a little easier to digest. There's many lessons in that. Um, And I hope that it was a nice open casket. And it was something that gave you a memory where it wasn't as traumatic as it could be. Happy to see you. Happy to see you too. Um, those are the things, those are the lessons. Like you're 4 years old, you don't know what the lesson is, but you have that memory, right? And you can only go by what it made you feel. And when you take something like that, um, allow it to guide you. Allow it to guide you in how you want your family, your friends, your kiddos to deal with those situations. Be well prepared for them. Um, it allows you to track how it made you feel and then help you along the way um, when helping others, right? Helping yourself, helping others. And it also helps you prepare so that certain things that you don't think are okay or maybe weren't great for you, you can protect others in the future. Um, and as you learn those small little things that felt like a hindrance or felt like something different that you didn't understand, uh, sorry, phone call. Learning how to understand and adjust for that is, uh, it takes a moment, but grief is grief and it does take what it takes. And if you allow yourself space for that and to understand it, I promise you there are things there that it is trying to teach you. Because if that memory is stuck in your head, there's a lesson there and there's things that you can do to prepare, adjust, and protect others. And there's always a story in that that is going to help someone else along the way. And that's the most important thing when you can take whatever it is and find the silver lining and turn it into a moment where you can actually help others in those moments, you really create a great space for yourself. So, and this part of it is the alchemy of motion. This is the fire becomes creation. So when you get to, thank you, thank you. When you get to a space, and there is many spaces, uh, especially if you've been hyper independent. This is a lot of trauma, but grief, all of those kind of things happen the same way. Um, Healing through them is the same process, a little different. And by the way, and any of them, there's no time limit. But what there is there's tools and there's ways that you can help yourself along the way. To integrate it because those griefs, the trauma, the triggers, they're not something bad. The trigger is trying to protect you. That thing is trying to tell you it's okay. I'm going to keep that from happening again. But what happens is that thing that's trying to protect you that actually ends up a negative thing is actually your superpower. But what you have to do is understand that when you're focusing it, instead of reacting to it, right? When something happens and then you finally explode, and now you have the gift of words, the gift of lifting people up and speaking their greatness and telling them things. People come around you, they feel empowered, they feel strong. But that same superpower, when you're mad and you react, is you spew venom, pure, just filth, venom, cussing. You can just literally make people crushed. Um, but when you learn how to understand that trigger before it ever gets to that point, you never have to worry about that, right? And that's the important part. And that's what I'm trying to focus this on. Fairbanks, good morning. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about the fire that becomes creation today. And this is my favorite part. And there's a point where you become hyper independent. There's a point where you dislike so much all of the things that are going on, those triggers, you don't want to deal with it. And then there's this kindness, this random stranger, this person shows you just a little bit of kindness and it crushes your whole soul. And you try to push everything away and you can't figure out why. We talked about that kind of yesterday. But what it's trying to tell you is you've been missing that for so long. And sometimes it's your triggers, sometimes it's abandonment, trauma, grief, all of those things. It could be many different things. But the point is, your heart's been closed off for so long, trying to protect you from getting hurt, that it actually blocked all of your other things, right? Your ability to receive, to understand, to probably not to give, because that heart still is that heart, right? And your moral compass is, I believe that never truly changes. Who we are truly is who we are. You can't heal that out of you. And when you start to understand that, it teaches you what your structure is. Work, play, live. How are you? Welcome, welcome. So, um, the idea on this one is after that kindness breaks open, you've opened your heart, you're learning how to receive. You have all of this energy, right? You're understanding that there's still going to be things out there that anger you. There's still going to be things out there that trigger you. The only difference is you can feel it, you can sense it in your body already because you've learned these small little bite-sized steps. And once you've learned them, they're tools, right? And you may have learned it for way back in the rage one that I taught about, how to understand the information. But if you take that same little tool and you apply it over here, now we're like, oh, wait a minute. How can I focus this? How can I take this energy? And sometimes, if you've let it go too long, and it will take a moment, it takes practice. It gets easier and easier each time, just like anything you do. But when you get to that point and there's say you've got an overabundance of energy and you can't focus anything right now, go for a run, go, scream in the bathroom, go do whatever you got to do without hurting somebody else uh, to get it out. Go do dishes, go for a walk, take a dog out, go, if you got to just jump on a trampoline, you got to just sit by a tree and just focus. Get that abundance out and then focus it. Yeah, take a walk. It's usually going to be a run or something, but when you have that much energy, you don't have to get rid of it all. You just have to get rid of the overflow. And eventually that doesn't happen, right? Once you get used to doing it, it doesn't happen anymore because you catch it long before. But all that energy, what happens? You start focusing it into creating. You take that same energy that would have been a reaction, would have been a blow up on somebody, would have been an F you, I'm not doing this anymore, I quit, whatever. Like it just would have been the crazy thing that should never happen, that would give you fear, guilt, shame, all those things. Now you're focusing it into what can I learn? How can I, you need to advocate for yourself. How can I advocate for myself? I'm going to go search every law and everything, what my rights are, and understand them and know them. I'm going to go I'm going to learn a new app. I'm going to build my own website. I'm going to create my business. I'm going to make tea until my brain tells me that it's safe and I can uh, settle my soul and do this. And what am I going to do? I'm going to have a learning curve and I'm going to get frustrated and I'm going to do those things. But that fire, those triggers, that anger, that fear, all of that stuff that wants to hold you back, if you say, I'm done with that, I'm not allowing that to control me, now you get to turn it into your gold. You're alchemizing it as you go. I'm not going to fight back and react to you and call you names because I'm mad. Especially 9 times out of 10, by the time that happens, the person never deserved it in the first place, right? So instead of doing that, I'm going to do something. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to go chop vegetables because fruits and vegetables, right? Uh, because it gets the anger out. It's about focusing it. Okay, now I feel better. Now I feel that creative coming in. Now those flashes of ideas, because you've been able to open and receive, you can turn it into something. And that fire, where it's hard, where you're still building and you're still trying to work on things, that fire keeps you going when no one else knows, when no one else is sure. You're sure, and and you keep going, and you don't know all the way, but that fire keeps you looking for the next step, right? Uh, Oh, I know I'm right. When I tell you I've crawled through this mud 10 times over, backwards, forwards, in the ditches, self sabotage myself so many times, I've had to walk this path 1,000 times. This is something that I'm actually a master at, and I don't need um, some degree. I have the degree of life. And when I tell you, I have been through every form of betrayal, abuse, anything you can possibly think of. I've been through it. I've had to do it when people were not only not giving a crap, but when they were kicking me while I was down. I've climbed over top. I promise you 110%. Uh, Please ensure that comments are respectful and not going against community standards. Channels can be monitored randomly. Thank you. Well, thank you for that. Starting April 12th, YouTube channels will be $8.99 per month per channel after this date. Oh, spam account. Well, thank you for that warning. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. I'm sure that was a lot of time to type out, and we appreciate you and your sharing. Have a good day. So we take that energy and we focus it, and we focus it on what matters, right? And what matters is our greatness. And when you learn to do that and say, what is it? How is this going to help me? What is it I want to do that the whole world doesn't think I can do, right? What is it that you would bring you joy? Because we're not about fighting our whole lives. We're about using this power to something that we can build, truly, honestly build. And most times when it happens, it's something you want to build to share, to help others, to let other people say, I see you. I've been there and I see you and I understand. So, the core theme of what this is about, when the pain, the frustration, the fire inside you, it stops burning you and it starts fueling you, right? The fire is not just pain, it's the anger, the grief, the fear, the frustration, and the part of you that refuses to stay the same. And when you understand it, that fire becomes direction, power, and creation. And that's where it starts to get really exciting. If you understood what I've been through in the last year, and since October, just the last year, but since October, I've got my business up and running. I had to fight like hell to get this stuff done. And I had to do it by myself with a daughter with some learning struggles, trying to get appointments, letting everything slip through the cracks. I had to advocate for myself in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Um, when I tell you that the proof is there, it's in my videos. The proof is there. There's no other thing that I can tell you but that. And when you see it and you understand it, you'll understand why I fight so hard to share what I share. The fire is built from everything you felt, right? The fire is frustration, anger, pressure, urgency. It feels uncomfortable, overwhelming, chaotic. Uh, but it's not here to destroy you. It's here to move you. It's here to show you exactly what it is that you're meant to build. It's here to show you what your passion is, what it means to you. Because uh, when that anger, the fear, all those that information, the fear is trying to stop you from doing what you do best. Okay, it's meant to protect you, but unfortunately, because of programming, because of stereotypes, other people's projections, other people's expectations of you, um, it created this fear that didn't allow you to do what brings you joy. And wouldn't you know that there's enough room in this whole world and there's enough abundance out there in this entire world for everybody to do exactly what they love? You think this universe wasn't created that way? We just got to learn how to find a way to do it. And we're manifesting, we're doing all these things, but my manifesting isn't just dream it in and sit with it. Mine is these are actions, these are grounded steps that can actually help you every step of the way. Orchid Fuge, welcome, welcome. Good morning. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. So it's not about pain. It's about everything you've gone through, right? The kindness that broke you open, the light that came through the cracks, and the parts that felt shattered. When you open your heart, even after dealing with all of that stuff, you're allowing yourself to receive. They're not setbacks. It's opening you up. It's allowing you to receive all of the things uh, that you've ever wanted to do. It's allowing you to say, hey, this is my desire. And God wouldn't give me a desire, something that I really want to do, if I didn't have the capability of doing it. Do you know every single action step? No. But do you know that there's enough energy, enough fire, enough stuff out there to say, hey, I can look into it? I'm really good. I'm excited. My kiddo's back in school. I got enough free time to get some other stuff done. Spring break was long. We tried to keep up on some of this stuff, but man, it kept me crazy. Uh, but it was fun because we got to be outside and we're digging in the garden and all the good stuff. Um, so now life is lifing. And when I talk about finding the balance changes, right? And when we start to understand that instead of punishing ourselves, because at first I was like, oh, I'm never going to get this done. I'm starting to feel anxious. And then I'm like, but you don't even have to do it. You choose to do it because you love doing it. So why are you turning it into you must, you have to? And it actually got to a point where I had to check myself, right? Because when you're used to being hyper independent, uh, you like got to do this, got to do that, got to do this. So those moments that we check ourselves, it's not about it's about understanding our capacity, and it's like, do I want to waste this time feeling bad because I didn't something can't be done, or do I want to spend this time enjoying my daughter and seeing her growth and seeing things that matter, um, because everything else doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, what is your priority in this world, right? It's me and my daughter. So when I look at it like that, I was able to take myself from kicking my butt and making myself feel guilty into, no, this matters, right? I'm constantly building content. I'm working. I'm building a business. I'm doing all the things. So spring break was a spring break for me too, and it was kind of nice. I still did some work. I just didn't get to come on here, right? I always start with small victories that motivate. Yes, and that's what this is exactly what I'm talking about with the alchemy emotion. These small little tools, these bite sized, digestible steps that a lot of you already do sometimes. The idea is that you don't do it sometimes. The idea is you start noticing when you do it because your body already inherently does many of these things. If you can start noticing it and then celebrate it. Oh my God, I did that. I didn't snap this time. I did this and it helped me not snap. How did that make me feel? That's how we check it in, right? And it's so important to understand these things because when we start celebrating them and empowering ourselves to do them, we recognize we already have most of the tools. And if there's one that we don't know yet, we're not taking away 25 things. Yes, there are things that we're going to have to release, the negative mindsets, but we're changing it out. We're catching it, right? The idea isn't I have to get rid of it or punish myself when I have a negative mindset. The idea is, oh, you don't belong here today. I see you telling me I can't do something, right? Talk to yourself. And I don't care what anyone says, it matters because when you hear your own voice saying, I hear you creeping in thinking I can't do this, showing up, I am here but working on stuff. That's fine. I appreciate it. Most times, just listening is good because even if something creeps in there, something good, little golden nuggets, that's all I care about. Um, because the idea is it's all bite-sized steps. So how I had to learn it was messy. It was, backward, forward, crawling through the mud, in the ditch, drowning, still figuring it out. I've just found a way to kind of lay it out a little bit that makes it a little more digestible, easier to understand, and easier to apply in everyday life because that's so important. If we can't figure out how to apply it, because that's what took me the most, I was like, everyone's saying do this, but what does that mean, right? Um, so that's why I'm kind of breaking it down, simplifying it, and if one thing sticks and saves you in those moments from going from 0 to 100, you only go to 0 to 50. You figure it out, you catch it, and you celebrate yourself. Then you're definitely winning. Hi, Jimmy. How are you? Good day. I hope you're doing well. So it's always going to be about the small steps, and we're already doing them sometimes. But if we can celebrate it and do it a little more often, I promise you, it becomes just like breathing. Uh, oh, I talk to myself more than most people would like to admit. And actually, I'm talking about, yes, your body will, when you hold yourself accountable and you say, this is how I want to be, your body will follow. It's naturally the way it's supposed to be, right? We are our own guiding light. And when we understand our true north is never going to be a person, it's going to be our desires, our end goal. And even if you don't always know the end goal, so I have many end goals, but at the end of the day, those end goals are all going to point into what is it? Helping others, empowering them, showing them their gifts, allowing them to see just how amazing they are, boosting them up, celebrating them to do their best. Like that is what something that I love to do. It's something that I'm always going to do, but I can only help those that want to show up for it, right? Um, there's so many things I've done. I've created um, a 6 week program, a 6 week workshop series, a 4 part workshop series that will be out here soon. I've created a 12-week one on one coaching program that works really well, and a group one. Which is very custom. It's still very one on one. I've been creating a lot of stuff in the background, and I worked hard to get here. And the thing is, I could tell you backwards, forwards, blindfolded, uh, exactly how to get there and how to critically think and how to walk it back and how just like when I do my little my clarity readings when I pull cards for people, I do that and I force them to get clear on the questions that they want to ask. um, it's just asking, I just want $1 million, I just want this, is this going to happen in my life? Well, is that what you want to happen? If you can't get clear to me what you're asking, how can you ask the universe for it? Right? So the idea is when we learn to show up and get curious. My printer's going off again. I hope it's printing something nice. It's printing, I don't know what happened, but it's going. It'll run out of paper eventually. That's funny. All right, so uh, just understand they weren't setbacks. They're just opening you up to letting you see what your true power is. And it's so, so important. That's amazing. I've worked hard for it, and well, it's printing properly this time. So I don't know. That's funny. It's been doing this for like 20 minutes. I don't know why though. Yeah, doing coaching work is good. Um, I actually used to be shy about it, but I help everybody all the time anyway. But the difference is I've created programs that actually allow you to check in, allow you to follow up. I'm the one that's going to do the homework with you. I'm not going to give you ever the answer. I can't give you the answer, but I can give you the tools to find the answer. I can give you the ability to ask yourself, and I will certainly celebrate every little step of the way with you, which is the most important because uh, sometimes people don't know how to celebrate themselves. And sometimes when you're not used to it, you don't even know how. You don't know how to say, wow, good job. I showed up for me today. I didn't snap today. I didn't do it perfectly, but man, I could have been way worse. I know how I behaved before. I could have been so much worse. I didn't do that today, and I'm really proud of myself. And you know what? I go to people every day, strangers or not, and I see things that they're doing, and I tell them, congratulations. I'm proud of you because you understand so how many people don't hear that enough? You understand how many people are embarrassed to tell themselves, I'm proud of me? You didn't work that hard. When we celebrate ourselves for these little things, every single milestone becomes that much more achievable, right? Red Devil, how are you? Good morning. I guess it's probably afternoon there now. It's 11:45 here. It's almost afternoon. It was fun. I have to go back to work. Thank you, my friend. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. And it will be the replay. I break them down into smaller videos because I chit chat on my lives a lot. I always post the live so you can go back and watch, but I also break it down into like teaching moments so they're a little more digestible. I like to do that. So 12:45 here. Oh, so you're only an hour difference. That's not usually everyone's 3 or 4 or 5 hours different. So that's good. Uh, yes, have a great day. I hope you have a beautiful day at work. Take a lot of rest and celebrate yourself for just one little thing. Anything that you've done today, notice it, celebrate it, and say thank you for noticing it to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say how great you are and do it until you laugh at yourself. Don't care. 8:45 p.m. Yeah, like everybody's all over. Wow. In Denmark. Denmark, yeah? I've never been. There's a whole lifetime of things that I still want to do. So I better get my butt in gear and start making big bucks. YouTube better start paying me. I'm just kidding. Um, all right. So every time you've grown, it came from something uncomfortable. Like, let's be honest. When everything's like happy go lucky and perfect, the ability to grow from that, there's ways that we can celebrate, we can be good. But if we look back at all the times where we totally thank you, fabulous nuts, I appreciate you. Every time we've grown from something, it was from grief, it was from pain, it was from overcoming tragedy, overcoming something that was so hard. Okay, but do you understand that what that is teaching you, you have the capacity to overcome hard things. You have the capacity to pivot, to change, to learn, to grow. And you've been doing it your whole life already because you're still here. And you can't tell me there's one person on this planet. Uh, I have never met one that has never had one thing of trauma, one thing of tragedy, one thing of grief. Not one person. So if you showed up today and if you have the ability to pay attention, you've already been mastering overcoming things in your life. Uh, it's beautiful and peaceful here. Honestly, YouTube doesn't pay that great. I honest to God, I don't expect YouTube to pay that great. I just would like something so it covers some of it and gives me a little free time. Then I don't want to have to charge people. So when I come on, like my group sessions, I want to be able to keep them low and accessible. I don't, there's many people that can afford the high price, but and people are like, well, you shouldn't do that. I go through many conversations back and forth, right? People are like, well, people aren't going to want to pay for it if it's too cheap. And I'm like, it's not about them wanting to pay for it or not. It's about them understanding that um, I'm here to be accessible to everybody. And uh, even if it takes a little bit of time and it takes you a moment, and yes, you have to invest in yourself a little bit, but I would much rather be able to be paid to do something and do this freely and help people. I'm not about trying to be a billionaire. I'm about trying to make sure you and anybody else that is looking for that help can do it on a realistic basis, right? So that's why I talk about these. I've got a bunch of workshops going out. Um, and hopefully I'm in line. They've been looking into me, and I've seen them checking out my socials and stuff, which is pretty exciting. But I can get to take some of this stuff into the women's shelters, not just women's shelters, homeless shelters, places that I can really teach these people that you do have the power, and teach them how to advocate for themselves properly, so they stop slipping through the cracks, right? And it takes time and it takes empowerment and it takes the ability. Every single person on this planet has the power. They just don't know it because it's hidden behind shame, guilt, fear, all of the things that um, are meant to try and stop you. But if you can get past it and you can start being aware, you have the power to absolutely co-create in your universe. I didn't like to ask for money either, but it stressed me out. So I'm doing the streaming. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get monetized this year, and it's just, yeah, I will never ask for money. Just like uh I never ask for likes or subscribes either. People are free to do what they will, and if they want to do that, absolutely, I love it. Every once in a while, Grace watches YouTube for her kids' videos, and she'll pop on and she'll be like, "Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe." It's so funny when she says it because they always say it on there. And she popped up and said it one day, and it just made me laugh so hard. But it's not about not taking money. I like people that can afford it. Some people need to spend money to actually invest. And I was one of those people. I had to spend a little bit of money to make sure I showed up. And I do understand both sides of the coin. But it's not about giving your whole life savings. It's about investing enough in yourself to understand that um, I invested. I must show up. Just like when you pay that gym membership, I'm going to show up because I paid for it, right? And it's kind of like that. And that's what I'm hoping when I'm teaching people. even like through here, I can teach you in a general, but even in our group settings, it's way more one-on-one. I can give you specific things to ask about, checking in. We can look at what you're doing and actually go one step farther. We can dig a little deeper. I can help you find what's the next three, four, five actionable steps that are going to get you to your next opportunity. And that's what's important. Like I say, don't let the scars. Yes, we can never do that. Those scars of your past are actually your stairway to your greatest self when you get it in control, right? And the idea we don't have to control everything, but the one thing that we actually have control of in this world is how we respond. And I say respond instead of react because when we react, it's already gone too far. And trust me, I know that I'm the queen of um, if I bite my tongue and bite my tongue and bite my tongue, when I finally let it out, I'm tearing someone a new ass, and it's not good. It's not good, and I always feel like crap after because I would never want. I would never want to do that to hurt somebody, right? And I did that so many times that uh, I went through the cycle of fear, guilt, shame so many times. Like it kept me hidden. It kept me small for a long time, which is why I fight so hard now. Because when we can notice this and change it, because almost every single time when someone snaps and says things, it's because their boundaries have been crossed so much, and they don't know how to advocate for themselves. They don't know how to understand I'm worth more, and I need to walk away. I need to let it go. Right? It doesn't with no hate, no anger, no nothing. It doesn't align, it doesn't work, it doesn't feel good, and it always makes me feel upset. What do we do? I matter more because I can't be doing my best and helping here, there, and everywhere if I'm always feeling like crap, having to explain myself, worried about somebody committed to misunderstanding me. There's a million things that can happen that just keep you small and keep you in the shame, fear, guilt. And then when you finally rise above, you've reacted, you've snapped, and then then you're back in the bottom again. And the idea is if I can teach people to focus this energy, we can use it to create your own website, to build your business, to do what it takes. And we all have the possibility. It really truly is there, right? Everything every time you've grown, it came from something ugly, but you're here. So you've clearly overcome it. How did you overcome it? Sometimes just asking your question, how did I get through that? Yeah, it took a little bit of time. Yeah, it was frustrating. Yeah, I was upset. Yeah, but did I have to go to the mirror and tell myself I believe in myself every day for months, even when I didn't believe it? Did I have to force myself to look myself in the face in the mirror and say I'm worthy? I'm worthy of love. I deserve all of the things that I desire. Did I have to do that for months? Yes. Did I do it? Yes. And you know what? It was a radical act of self-love because when you don't remember all of the things, right? I remember all the things because I had to do it so many times. And then I had to go back, from under the barrel and figure it out again, and I had to pick out what had worked. What actually worked each time I got to a certain point, right? So I had to redo, and these things work every single time. They will work when you commit to them. And that's why I teach them. It's not about me telling you all the answers. It's about me telling you this tool will work if you commit to it. And there's science, there's all kinds of things to back it up. I am affirmations, hold yourself accountable. They teach you something, and you're speaking your greatness. And when you're saying I am, you're also saying thank you. You're letting the universe know that you know exactly who you are and you're showing up. Simone, how are you? Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. And that's the most important thing when you can understand that and commit to yourself in these small little things, small things. Speak your greatness. I am. Every time you say I am, just like you said, your body follows. I am powerful. I am strong. I am creative. I am able. I am learning. You know what? Your body follows. Maybe not perfectly, maybe a little wobbly, in the beginning, but I promise you it follows. And every single time it follows, what happens? It leads you to a greater point of what was before. And that's the whole point. Now we're just taking it and we're focusing it. Now we understand that every time that's what happens. That's the end result when I get there. So if I can control how I respond instead of react, I can control how I get there. I'm not going to control every single thing, but I can control with how much quicker I get there. Almost always it's going to be twice as fast because you focused it. You're not following your way there. You're not focused. You're trying. You're working on it. And that's so much more important. How are you and your beautiful daughter? Good. It's so funny. Yesterday they took a picture of her at school. She struggles with writing and her fine motor skills big time. So we've been doing like the crumpling with paper and the small little crayons and little extra things. Yesterday, for the first time, she drew her first two, but completely by herself with no help. And did it a couple times repeatable, and she was so proud of it. The teacher took a couple pictures and she sent them to me. But she's holding her thing like this and she's like the biggest cheeser grin. And it's like those small little wins. And it makes me laugh because it's so up my alley. Like it's literally everything that I deal with, I talk about, I promote what it's like my brand, what I am, right? Small, achievable, bite-sized steps, small celebrations, no matter what they are. And when she sent me those pictures, I was like, I don't think you understand. They're getting printed and they're gonna go on my fridge because um, those little small things that seem like that nobody, like anyone else could be listening to some of the things they're saying, they're like, oh, that's retarded. Why would you? But when you do that and when you pat your own back and you learn how to do that, not only do you empower yourself, you start to realize that you're worth a lot more than you thought you were, or a lot more of what you let slide because uh, you're like, it's not worth the argument. It's not worth the fight. Well, what happens is eventually you start dimming yourself down because you believe that you're not worth the fight. You're not worth the action. You're not worth those things. And what I'm trying to teach you is every single time you show up, you prove to yourself again and again you are worth it. And what happens when you start realizing you're worth it? You inherently do better. Everything you do is going to be better. You're going to strive harder, focus, learn. You're going to attempt things that you didn't think you could do. And that is what's so important. This is the most important part. That's why this is my favorite part. And trust me, there's still a couple things before you come full circle in this. But this is my favorite one because once you can learn to direct that energy instead of reacting, instead of blowing up and doing things that put you in that cycle of fear, guilt, shame, worry, all of those things, when you learn that you can focus it, the mountains you can climb, the things you can overcome, you you do, right? Even when you start it, yeah, that mountain looks huge. And then you take that energy and all of a sudden you're three-quarters up the mountain and you're almost at the other side and you're like, how did that happen? How? You turn around and you look back, right? And you're like, I, I'm all the way up here. What happened? I didn't worry so much about the end result. I knew that this is the goal. But I instead of doing that, I broke it down into small achievable steps, right? And I focused it. Okay, I can research this. Okay, I can take this one step today. I can post this. I can build this in the background. Even if I'm unsure, I can still build it and I can perfect it as I go, right? Because you start to be more empowered. You enable yourself to do more. You become fearless. Why? Because you show up. You've proven to yourself every single time that you show up, you overcome. And all that energy starts to become pride and like in a good way, not pride where I'm too smart, I'm never going to learn. Pride, like, look what I did. Look what I accomplished. I could have been snapping. I could have been in jail. I could have been in a car accident. I could have been all kinds of crazy because I let my anger get to me, because I let all that get to me. But instead, I took that and I created something from nothing, from scratch, just from an idea in my mind. I created that because I learned how to focus that. And when you start to do that, even if it's a small little thing, and the reason I focus so much on celebrating those small little wins is because when you start to get one and you say amazing, right? You say, look at what I did, and you pat yourself on the back, you start to go, what's the first question you say? And I know y'all know, what could I do next? What is there? What could I do next? Is there another step that I could maybe do? I don't know all the way, but what is that? Hmm. Maybe I'll just Google it and see what the next step could possibly be. And all of a sudden you're in full research mode and you're doing this and doing that and you're excited. And that energy that could have been fear, guilt, shame, all those things turns into excitement, empowerment, and the ability to be enabled, the want to do it, the excitement to show up and do it. That is so exciting. And that's why this is my favorite part of it, right? My favorite part of the process. Zena at Zadran, welcome, welcome. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. So this is why I talk about it and I'm so passionate about it because once you start doing that, the things that you can accomplish, if you can go back to my videos even from a year ago and see the drastic change. And it's been over more than just a year, but I mean, if you were just to look at the 1 year, you'd be like, holy crap, like it's pretty wild. So the fire is information, right? The shift. This is the first thing that I want you to notice, right? The kindness that breaks you open. That's where your awareness comes in. That's where you start to understand. Wait, why is kindness making me so upset? Why does it make me fearful? Why does it make me uncomfortable? Almost every time it's because you haven't received enough of it. And if you haven't received enough of it, why are you relying on someone else? Because I'm sure you give kindness to everybody. You show up for them all the time. You always want to do nice things for people. But what if just for a little bit, until you start to understand that you turn that to yourself? Hold the door open for yourself. Make yourself a cookie. Buy yourself flowers. Look yourself in the mirror and say, man, you're beautiful today. You showed up just like that. You're amazing. Because you would tell your friend that, oh, that shirt looks great on you today. You would show up. Go for a walk in the park, look at the sky, and be like, man, it's a beautiful sky. It feels just the same as when you give it to someone else, except you're giving it to yourself. You don't have to wait for somebody else. And Keith, welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping in. So these small little things, they're radical acts of self-love. But what they do is they create empowerment. They allow you the space to say, I'm worthy. Even when you say, I know I'm worthy, but are you? Do you know that? Because if you really knew that, the idea of taking yourself for a walk, the idea of going to lunch by yourself, the idea of sitting with your journal and just thinking your thoughts uh, and empowering yourself wouldn't be intimidating, right? I'm not reading. Well, I'm reading my notes. I'm teaching alchemy and motion, and we're at the fire becoming creation. This is the part where we get to turn it into, turn all that anger, fear, all of those things that um, we've learned how to kind of understood and go through. We're learning how to turn it into your passion, to drive you, to learn, to inspire, uh, to keep you going when you're waiting for the rest of the world to come up, right? Because the rest of the world will catch up eventually. If you build it, they will come. You know those cheesy lines? It's true. And but the first thing you got to do is believe in yourself. And it comes through practice, it comes through empowerment, it comes through radical acts of self love, and it comes from learning how to focus that energy into something that you have control over, that you can direct it. You don't have all the control, but you have the control enough to, I can research this. What is the step I can take? What is this? And it's not always going to be the same answer for everyone, but there's always something that you can do, whether it's learning how to advocate for yourself, whether it's understanding how to protect yourself, the rules, whether it's just standing in front of the mirror and saying, I'm angry and I have a right to be angry about this. Now I need to know why I'm angry, right? Because you're angry, right? But why are you angry? Because when you start digging deeper and asking and understanding those questions, that's where your answers come. That's where it starts guiding you towards your passion, towards what you're actually meant to do, and how you can help yourself and the world. Um, that's why it's my favorite part. So, um, when the kindness broke you open, there's an awareness that until you start being kind to yourself, you're never going to be able to truly understand how to receive, right? And when we talked about the light through the cracks, which was the one yesterday, um, that's when you start letting more light into all those corners that haven't been seen, been hiding in the darkness. You're letting that light in, and it's pushing all that darkness, all that negativity, all the stuff you've been holding on to because you didn't know what to do with it. It's pushing it out and it's making room for this to receive those flashes of inspiration, those ideas, the next step forward. What do I do next? Your speaking skills so good. Oh, thank you. I have my moments. My brain goes sometimes way faster than my mouth. So you'll catch me going, because I'll be thinking of something and then trying to uh, put it out in a way that makes sense. And part of it is trauma brain. I fully admit that. When you've been through enough trauma, especially narcissistic stuff, physical abuse, things like that, your brain tries to fire off. Uh, it tries to fire off in all different directions because you go into survival mode, right? Right. And what I've learned, and it still takes practice, and I still catch myself, and I've learned how to um, be patient with it. And it's also made me a lot more patient with other people. It takes practice, but you know what? The only way you're going to get that practice is when you keep showing up and you keep doing it. I'm also self aware enough, and that comes with practice too, that I know the ums come out, and people do it anyway, even without the trauma and without that stuff. But when it happens, it's because once you get that anxiety, learning how to take those breaths. Those are those tools, right, that I'm talking about, these small little ones that seem so small and they seem like it's not that big a deal. But when you learn, okay, I don't need to rush. I don't need to yell. I don't need to scream. When I just take that breath, and sometimes I try to be funny with it now. I laugh because I already know that's what's happening. My brain's going faster than my mouth can spew it out, and usually what it means is it's a really good idea. It's a really good thought. And when I'm taking the inspiration and I share it like I do, uh, sometimes I get frustrated with myself. And that's from a lifetime of being told you should have did this. It wasn't good enough, right? And that's where I have to learn. And you'll catch me doing it all the time. And the reason I talk about it like I do is because many people go through that. So many people go through that and punish themselves and shame themselves and hide themselves because of that. And it's like I didn't do it. I didn't do it to me, right? So, and I know you didn't do it to you. So why should you be ashamed of that? You're still pushing through. No matter what happens, you show up every single day. You take the good, the bad, the ugly, and you recognize that every single bit of that deserves to be loved. And that good and the bad and the ugly is the driving force. It's always the driving force. Everything you've ever overcome, where was it? It was something bad. It was negative. That doesn't mean, hey, give me all the negative stuff, but you know how to roll with the punches. You learn how to be resilient. You learn how to be resourceful, right? And being resourceful means taking that energy and focusing it. I need to research. I need to understand. I don't even know what I need to ask. Start typing it in. You start owning it in. You start learning how to take that tool and dig deeper and dig a little deeper. And when you can do that, the control that you have, the self control, the ability to go, okay, I'm getting out of control again. Laugh at yourself and reel it back in. Let's get it back in control, right? It's okay. And I talk about it like I do. I'm actually planning for some of my content, which is probably going to be really cheesy, but I don't even care. I've been planning out my content, and it's always, if you look at my posts that are in the evening, it talks about all this stuff. And they're just little one liners, they're little things, little sentences um, that are just to pique your interest, to ask the questions, to create curiosity. Because the more curiosity we have, the less time we have for anger, fear, shame, guilt. We have no time for it. When we're curious, we're inspired, we're learning, we're taking all of that. We ain't got time for that stuff. We're happy. We're so grateful for the ability to learn that we ain't got time for any of that stuff, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. And when we can inspire that, what else can we inspire? And that becomes your driving question. What else can I learn? Who else could I help today? So with all of my stuff that I did, right, and I've been creating, you can look at that content. I worked my butt off, and I decided. So for for the rest of April, those posts that come out, I've already have them scheduled. I did a lot. I do a lot of work in the background. But this month, what I want to do, not this month, pardon me, next month, uh, all of those voiceovers, all the things that I do, because a lot of my stuff, everyone's like, you're so calm, you're so serious. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm a weirdo in such a good way, though. I do weird things. I'm trying to do I'm funny, a sense of humor, sarcastic. I do all the things. Everyone thinks I'm always so calm. Just because you're calm doesn't mean you can't laugh at yourself. It doesn't mean you're trying to do a voiceover and you're like, what did I say? That doesn't even make any sense, right? You're talking, your mouth doesn't work, and you're like, like making funny faces, like those bloopers. That's real life. And when people see something like, and I kind of got told that a little bit. People were like, "Well, you're so serious. You're good at this. You're no." I practice and I do all kinds of weird things. Uh, I've just learned to laugh at myself. I've learned to laugh at myself in not a shameful way. Before, I would criticize myself and beat myself up because I just learned how to pick up the torch that everyone else had been doing my whole life. And I decided, no, what is wrong with that? I'm not saying anything hurtful to anybody. If I make a mistake or I don't say something right, would I punish my kid? Would I make fun of a stranger? Would I be cruel to them? No. So why is it okay to do it to myself? And when we start back and we go back to basics, and that's literally what this is, going back to basics. If we come back from that point, where would we do that to someone else? Then why do we do it to ourselves? That's all I'm trying to get. I'm going to drive it into your head and I'm going to boost you up and I'm going to say all those things every single time because I want you to understand it's okay to do things wrong. It's okay to screw up. It's okay to fall on your face. Get up. Are you okay? Are you good? All right. Yeah, you laugh at yourself. Have a little fun. Who cares? Right? Learning to say it's not that serious. Are my kids okay? Is my family okay? Is my job okay? Everything I have is good. Who cares? Right? And that's the whole idea. When we learn to let go of the things that don't matter and hold on to what really does, uh, our priorities change a lot. I'm in the bushes listening. Blessed day. Hi, Simple. I hope you're doing really well. So, and that's when you let go of all that control of all that other stuff. You know what it makes room for? Divine inspiration, curiosity, knowledge, wisdom. What could I learn today? Where could I do that? 12:43 a.m. Ooh, late night, late night. I can't even stay up that late anymore. I used to be a night owl, and now that I finally got my daughter on a sleeping schedule, trust me, it took a long time to get there. Uh, I go to bed every night with her at like 8:30, 9 o'clock because she won't go to sleep without me there. And I've gotten so used to it because I went my whole life with no sleep. I literally mean no sleep. I worked 18-hour jobs, and then if you wanted to go have fun or anything else, you had to have no sleep because you had to get up and go in the morning. I worked that pretty much my whole life. Uh, just long hour jobs. No, never had any sleep. And then of course, when you're supposed to sleep, you can't sleep because you're just uh, so far out of whack. Now going to bed at a normal time, I can't even think about staying up till midnight. I don't even think we stayed up till midnight for New Year's. Yeah. And it's the most wonderful thing. I can't tell you, especially when you're your whole life not having it. It was just absolutely beautiful. I appreciate you, Simone. Uh, so yeah, it's just these are the things when we learn how to um, not suppress our things and find that child, the inner child, find that fun, the little kooky weirdo in us. It's okay. We start to be proud of that instead of hide it. We start to uh, become inspired. We start to play. I wouldn't have learned the things that I learned, like the app that I just did with work. I didn't do it, let me not say that. That I just signed up for with Work Play Live. Helping me create content, helping with the ideas. It's so much fun. It's so good, and it's a learning thing. And it was inspired, and it was fun, and I can see where it can go. Doesn't mean everything has to be perfect. It's a learning curve, and you get to get in and learn early, and you get to have fun with it. And it inspired to the playtime in me, and say like, what can this do? What can this become? What can I make of this? Right? And that's a lot better than I can't do this. I'm never going to do that. What if people don't like it? Oh my God, it's going to take so much time and I don't know how I'm going to do it. Can you see the complete difference? It's so be like that. It's so heavy to constantly try to fight through something that you don't even deserve to carry. It's not your burden to carry, but it is your burden to show up and say, hey, what can I do today? I'm here and I'm breathing, and God gave me the breath in my lungs. There's something I'm meant to learn. There's something I'm meant to share. I may not know what it is, but I bet if I keep asking, just get quiet a little bit, a couple times a day. Go stare in that mirror and say, hey, you're beautiful today. Thank you for showing up. Start listening a couple minutes at a time, 2 minutes, even 1 minute. What would I like to think about today? Because you don't even know yet. It's okay. And that little flash, because it'll come, it'll just be a little flash. Or something comes on the TV and it'll be something you're like, wait, what? And you'll start looking into it. I'm telling you, when you start learning how to receive and how to focus and get rid of all of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, I can't, I don't know how, oh my God, there's a million reasons of things that can happen. You start to see there's a million reasons and things that can happen. And when you get out of that, there was 11111 on my timer. I love that. That's where new beginnings start. That is exactly what that means. And that's when things start changing. Um, you make room for it. You've got to make room for the good. And to do that, you got to get rid of the bad. And when we learn how to do it through small, bite sized steps, right? Celebrating the little wins, just celebrating us for showing up, reminding ourselves just how worthy we are, and understanding when I'm angry, I have a right to be angry. If I'm angry for something, there's a reason. Doesn't matter what it is, but I have that divine right to be angry. It's there for a reason. Now, what is it trying to teach me? Why am I angry? Right? Take your moment, have your couple moments, be angry, feel it, validate it, understand it. Why am I angry? Get to the core. Ask questions. You may not know right away. It may take a few questions. Get to the core. Ask the questions. Listen for the answers. Follow that answer. Ask the question again, right? How can I fix that? That's my next. I've given myself grace. I understand. How can I fix that? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I know this would help. Oh, so I'm going to type in and search. How would that help me? You're driving your own path when you start asking yourself questions and showing up. And every time you do one small thing, you show up and you complete that task and you do it and you find something at the end, you empower yourself, you inspire yourself, and you get curiosity. And that anger that could have been a reaction, you're an asshole, you ruined my day, blah, 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 to some random stranger who did nothing to you because you're ready to boil over, now turn into this little empowerment, this little idea that you turned into something. You researched, you found a step, you created something from that anger, from that fear. You didn't allow it to beat you down. You made it, you let it rise you up, right? And that's what's so important. I'm happy to meet you, and I feel good to listen to your beautiful words. I will come tomorrow again here, but yes, go to sleep. I appreciate you coming to listen, and the replay will always be up. And I always take cuts too. It's usually not till the next day, but I take clips out, 5, 10 minutes. To kind of get the teaching points out where it matters so that you don't have to watch 2, 3 hours to do it. That's what I try to do. Sometimes it works out well. Sometimes it's all over the place, but it's because I like to talk and like to make space. And I like to make sure that when you come in, if you have a question, if there's something I can help with, that I'm making that space because it's really, really important. Have a great night. Sleep well. So, um, yeah, your emotions are not random. They're signals, right? Anger, something isn't right. Fear, something matters. Grief, something was meaningful. Something mattered to you, right? Frustration, something needs to change. That's my favorite one. Because when you get to that one and that understanding, you don't know how to change it yet. Trust me, for me to get here, I had to ask a lot of lies. I had to take a lot of losses. I had to take a lot of abuse. I had to take a lot of stuff. I had to start believing in myself. I had to decide that it wasn't, I didn't deserve that. Okay, when you're a child, you don't have control over it. It's not your fault. But as you get older, you have to learn how to heal through it, or you're going to bleed on somebody else that didn't deserve it. And it's one of those things that are so very true. And you don't know that, right? When you're a kid, you don't know. Even as an adult, you don't really know if you don't have the opportunity and depending on what you're around. But what happens is, as soon as you know that you can do better, you should always be trying. That doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Doesn't mean you're not going to screw up. It doesn't mean you're going to get things wrong. It doesn't mean your mind is going to change 1,000 times along the way. What it means is once I find the core beliefs and once I start knowing and understanding myself, what triggers me, what upsets me, how I behave, my patterns, how to stop them along the way, how to turn those patterns into my greatness. Once I learn that, it doesn't matter what I encounter. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you betray me. It doesn't matter if you take from me. It doesn't matter if I lose everything today because my foundation is here and I have the knowledge, I have the resilience, I have the resourcefulness. Yeah, it gets tiring, it gets exhausting, and sometimes it's hard. But what happens at a hard? We grow, we pivot, we turn around everything bad and we turn it into our greatness. You knock me down 10 times, I'm coming back 11 and I'm coming back stronger. And every time I come back stronger, what happens? Eventually, you can't knock me down. That's what happens. And this is where I'm at right now. You can't knock me down. It took a long time to get here. And what I'm trying to do is make it so you don't have to go through all of the hard ways. Yes, there's still going to be hard things. But if you can learn and understand it and use and understand these steps, these small little tools, this understanding of how things work, when that happens, you don't ever have to get to that crazy part. You don't have to get to the shame, fear, guilt cycle because you fixed it all the way back and you notice it and each time it's a little bit easier and when it gets back here you start noticing, wait a minute, that's not a weakness, that's a superpower because I know how to use that. Instead of being angry and being mad and reacting, I know how to focus, I know how to research, I know how to draw, I know how to scribble while I'm angry, and eventually it turns into this beautiful drawing. It takes time, it takes practice, but when you can do it, it's literally walking you right into your highest, best possible self, to your highest timeline. And it's the best thing you'll ever know. So, the mistake that people make is reacting, suppressing, avoiding, because they don't want to deal with the grief, fear, anger, shame. These things come up. And they come up. The shame, nobody should ever feel. Let me first and foremost preface that shame is something that was taught to you to keep you quiet, to keep you from telling people the things that had happened to you. And that breaks my heart. I am here with you. It's okay. Thank you. I appreciate you listening. You never have to worry. I teach for those that show up and even those that can't show up. But 11818, thank you, Spirit. Um, I'm here. I'm always going to teach. I'm going to do what it is. And people come and go all the time. If they need just one little nugget, one little voice of empowerment, one little something, then I've done my job. So you never have to worry. I appreciate any and all love. So the idea is I want you to avoid reacting, suppressing, avoiding. I want you to start understanding before you react. And sometimes it might be right before the snap. Okay. The idea is, okay, I didn't snap this time. Oh, I came close. Man, I came close. But I didn't. Good job. You didn't snap. Good for you. What did I do? Could I have noticed it a little bit sooner? Was there something going on in my body? How I felt? Did I feel it starting to bubble up? What was the feeling? Right? You start to track your patterns. You start to understand it. And it's just by getting curious. And immediately, because you patted your own back, because you know what it could have been, and it didn't end up being that, you focused it. And you focused and asked those questions. And when you ask those questions, you got an answer. And then when you use that answer the next time, it wasn't here anymore. It was over here. And it got a little bit easier. Wait, I didn't do this or this. I got a little better. I'm doing better. How did I get here to do better? What worked? Can it work again? Will it work next time? And you start to track your little things that you do because you already inherently do them. You just don't notice them and don't celebrate them. So it's so easy to slough it off like it's not a big deal, which is why it never gets used when it's really, really important. And all I want you to do is start noticing it and celebrating it. So instead of having to go back to that snapping and all the other things, you can take that same energy, that same thing that's supposed to be negative and all the bad, and turn it into your greatness. Inspire you, teach you how to learn, give you that energy to show up when you're kind of tired, but you're angry, and you're not gonna let somebody take you out of yourself. So you're gonna show up and you're gonna do the research and you're gonna look in that mirror and say, I am learning and I am gonna do better each day. I love myself no matter what. I am ready to learn today and go to work. And I promise you, it gets easier and that power gets stronger and stronger. And the more you focus it and the more you show up, man, when you turn around and actually do your check in and go, like, whoa, what's happened? What have I done today? You're looking all the way back and you're like, holy crap, I crossed that whole bridge. Where did the time go? What happened? And the amount of pride and empowerment when you complete that is just, it's absolutely unspeakable. It's priceless. There's no amount of money that could uh, make that happen. It only takes you, your time, your energy, and your 100% true belief in yourself. And sometimes that takes time, takes energy, takes focus. But just like you would teach your kid, sometimes you got to reteach yourself, right? So these are some of the tools, and I say in quotation marks because they're all almost always going to be the same. Getting curious, ask the questions. If the question doesn't seem right, ask it a different way. Ask a different question. Whenever you get curious, you're not punishing. You can't punish yourself and be shameful and hateful and angry and all those things while you're being curious. When you're being genuinely curious, and that's what we want to do here. What is this feeling trying to show me? Whatever that feeling is, whether it's anger, fear, guilt, shame, kindness, what is it trying to show me? What is not aligned right now? Because there's going to be many, many things that don't align, and that's okay. It doesn't mean they won't align in the future. It doesn't mean it's forever. But sometimes what doesn't align, you just got to walk away from. It's not my burden to bear. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to stay in my own lane. And I'm going to worry about what I can control. And when you get to that space, you start they fall away. It's not like you're just throwing people away or sending negativity. Things just fall away because you're plowing forward and you're focused on your future, and that energy stays focused on you. And you know what? For many, many people, you spent your whole life everywhere focused but there. So if everything falls away and for just a little while, you stay focused on just you and only you and what you can do and empowering yourself and learning, uh, it's just it's just evening, balancing the scales, right? Because you haven't been doing it your whole life. Time to turn it back to you. And when you do that and you see how far you catapult, it's amazing. One, two, three, four, five. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. So these questions, and then loving the ugly parts. This is like, it's my favorite one. Understanding the fire, right? The fire is information. It's telling you something isn't aligned, something needs to change, and something is ready to grow. And that ugly part of you is trying to give you that information. It doesn't mean that it's ugly and it's got to go. It just means it's ugly and it needs to be transformed. It needs to be understood so it can be used as a tool. And the idea is what's not aligned. Okay, something needs to change. Is it my mindset? Is it that negativity I speak every single day because why did you do this? Oh, you're so stupid. You should have did this. You should have did that. Right? These are programs that were programmed into your head. That thing, when you notice it, okay, that's got to go. It takes practice. It's not going to happen. That's got to go and it never comes back. When it comes in, I see you creeping in. We're not doing that. I am powerful. I love myself. I am showing up for me. And you got to keep showing up and you got to keep noticing it. And every time you miss it, that's okay. When you become aware of it, celebrate it, notice it, understand it, because you start noticing it more and you start showing up more and it gets a little easier. And that's you focusing that energy. Could have been negativity weighing you down, but instead it's positivity saying, I can do this. I see it. I'm noticing it. You're not getting me this time. Fear, you don't belong here. I can do anything. Even if I fall, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm not going to die. So let's try this again. Let's show up and let's do it right. Fear, you got to go. We ain't got time for that here, right? You're taking that and you're noticing it. First step, the notice, right? The shift, what is it telling me? And then the action that you're doing next. That's literally alchemy in motion. However, you drive that energy, it's always going to take you on the other side to your highest, best self. Gotta go to bed now. Have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate you. And I hope you got a little bit of, whether it's a little bit of love, a little nugget of wisdom, or something good to help you dream something great into the future. Because that's what sleep time is for. Enjoy your night. Take care. All right. And then something is ready to grow. It's not random, it's direction. It's telling you exactly where you need to go, where you need to learn, what you need to understand. And that's so much important, right? You cannot use your fire if you reject where it comes from, right? Those negative things, those ugly parts, those shadowy, hidden parts that haven't seen light, they're only shadowy and bad and ugly because they haven't been understood, right? When people avoid things, it's not because they hate it, it's because they don't understand it. And why should you ever walk in this world when there's a part of you that you don't understand? Nobody in this world should understand you better than you. And if you don't even understand you, that's where you get manipulated. That's where you get people coming in, telling you stuff and getting you with things. And you're like, no, that makes no sense to me. It doesn't make no sense to me. And I've been doing all this learning and I understand myself and my pattern. That doesn't look good for me. And I've made a deal with myself. If it's not an absolute yes, it's a no, right? And you start, those boundaries become stronger, they become firmer, but they came from the ugly parts. And that fierceness that you did use to beat yourself up, that you used to carry the torch that everyone else has been doing, now you focused it on you. And that fierceness is now lifting you up. It wasn't a bad thing. It's just not reacting and spewing negativity. It's lifting you up with positivity. It's showing you steps. It's allowing you the time to listen, to put yourself first, to focus on you. That fire becoming creation is the biggest, it is absolutely my most favorite part of this process. If you can't tell, I talk about it, and the way I talk about it, you can see it in my actions, in the things that I've built in the background, that are still coming, in the things that I put out every single day, in the content that I create. When I tell you that is my fire, but I had to get through so many trenches. I had to figure it out. I had to start trusting in me. I had to start trusting with my connection with God. I used to shame myself because I don't pray like everybody else prays, you know, for hours at a time. But I talk to God all day long, all day long. Thank you for the beautiful blue sky. What is it I'm trying to learn? What am I trying to understand? And then I listen, right? Because I've learned that connection. I ask a question, I'm getting the answer. I get it nearly immediately or very soon after. Okay, the only time that I ever get like not get the answer very quickly is when the answer is I need to be patient, which is I hate that one. It's I'm like, really? That's my response. I say to God, really? Like I gotta be patient again? You know, it's one of my hardest things, and I full on admit that. But I've learned to laugh about it. But the important ones, the ones when I'm telling a message, even when I'm talking about this, all of my notes, I haven't went through all of them. I'm trying to keep some of the key points because I can talk about this for days and days and days because I know it so well, right? And because it drives me, it inspires me, and it brings me absolute joy. And I think that anybody, when they start finding that out about themselves and start seeing what your capacity is, what your capability is, your ability to show up, the things that you can actually do when you focus a little more on yourself and start learning what triggers you, what your goals are, why things trigger you. Because there are certain things that trigger you that are supposed to trigger you. They're supposed to trigger you, like loyalty, right? Honesty, integrity. So if you stand by that and that is your compass, that's your true north, that's who you are as a human being. If somebody is coming against you and not doing those things, and you're watching them not do those things and they're doing it in your face and you know they're doing it, what are you going to do? You're going to be triggered. You're going to be upset. That doesn't mean we react and shame them and all that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But it's going to trigger you because that's not who you are. And what that means is you and that person, place, or thing doesn't align. It doesn't align with your goals, with your morals, with who you are as a person. And no matter where you are in this world, in this life, that's always going to trigger you because that's your core belief. That's who you are, right? You can't heal that out of you, and it should never be healed out of you because it's the greatest part of you. And when we start understanding that, we're not turning that into ugly. Yes, that triggers us. So how am I going to respond to it? I'm going to respond by not being around what doesn't align, what's going to constantly trigger me because I'm not going to feel safe, because that makes me fearful, because I believe respect, honesty, loyalty, integrity are those things that matter. Handshakes should matter. I make a handshake with you. I stand by that. I'm showing up. I'm doing the things. That's who I am as a person. And if you're not doing those things, you know, I'm not ever going to feel safe in an interaction, right? And some people are learning their way there. And that doesn't mean you're not going to align with them forever. It doesn't mean you can't teach them things along the way. What it does mean is you know who you are. We want to heal those things that are empowering us. And when we understand that this is something that triggered us to something ugly because we didn't understand it. But once we understand it, that's not ugly. That's not a bad thing. It just means we have to adjust, pivot, and understand it so we don't constantly get triggered for that because we shouldn't have to be triggered for that, right? So, what can we change? It's not always going to be what somebody else does. Accountability lies where it lies. We can't force other people to have accountability, but we can be accountable for our own self. We can be accountable in how we teach, how we learn, what it is we want to do. That's the thing. And when we have our own personal accountability, we start becoming and having our own divine authority, which means I speak it, I do it, it happens, and it must come to pass. It's universal law. It must come to pass. I'm doing the action steps. I show up. I do all the things. It doesn't matter if I do all of the right things. What matters is I show up and I do everything that I possibly know that I can possibly do. And in the amount of time that it takes me to do that and apply those action steps, what happens? A new opportunity opens up, a new possible path, a new idea, a new connection that leads you right to exactly where you want to go. You have to trust. And to trust, you have to know yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to understand yourself so thoroughly that when you take those steps, nobody can shake you. Nobody can tell you this is a yes, a no, a maybe. It is an absolute yes because I've thought it through. I understand. I understand the pros, the cons, the things that could happen, and I'm not scared. And that's what happens when we take that, all of those things, and we understand them and we can turn it into our creation. That's pretty freaking exciting, don't you think? And then the ugly, it's where your drive is born, literally. It's where it all comes from. It's what keeps you motivated, keeps you going, keeps you showing up. Why do you want to get rid of that? Why shame that? Why be embarrassed of that? That's your drive. So instead of taking it and letting it weigh you down, use it as your fuel, right? Instead of I hate that I feel this way, this feeling is showing me something important. The part of you that's angry is also the part of you that refuses to stay stuck. That's the part of you that wants change. That's the part of you that wants to do better, know better, be better. And then and that's what I teach, right? My whole system, the way it is, the tools, and I give a lot of it out because it's not about making money. It's about you understanding that we all have the capacity. Every single one of us, and I don't care what you came from or where you've been or what you've been through. If you're breathing, you have the capacity. And when you start to understand that, and I'm walking proof every single day. Go look at my old videos. You can see for your own self. And just from what you can see from the videos, the things I've been through, I could tell you stories that would make your head explode. Although I'm not one to trauma dump, so I'm not going to do it unless it's something important that can actually be helpful. But when I tell you, I know, I tell you with my divine authority, by God's honor, I know. If I haven't been through it, I've been through something very similar um, that is very relatable to it. I've been through all aspects of uh, good, bad, and ugly, and it sucks, but it doesn't because I've learned a lot, and now I'm here to share it and help. And it allowed me to create the system that is going to help many, many people, and that's pretty exciting. So uh, this is where you start understanding the grace in it, right? The information. We understood that. We're learning what they were. Giving yourself grace. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're allowed to be messy. You're allowed to show up with the unsures, uh, the bloopers, the figuring it out as you go. You're allowed to fail forward, and it actually begins to be fun when you start loosening up and not worrying so much about it. Right? You're learning, and as long as you're learning, you're growing. You're doing better. You're being better, and you're walking proof, showing everybody that sees you, encounters you, gets to know you. You're walking proof that they can do it too. You lead in your own divine authority and you don't even realize it. Pretty wild, eh? The grind. You still take action. You still move forward. You don't stay stuck. That drive is what keeps you doing this. And when you start understanding all that stuff, you can pull it together. That's alchemy in motion. You do it every single day. Now we just need to start noticing it, celebrating it, understanding it so you can reuse it each and every time. So you can reuse it to your benefit, to your advantage every single time, instead of allowing other people to benefit off it. Well, she reacted. Now she feels bad. So now she has to do all this stuff to make up for this thing that she feels bad about that I made her feel bad because I manipulated. Or you could just say, we're going to skip that today. I'm going to focus all that energy on me and what I can do. And I'm going to grind for myself today. And I promise you, every single time, it's going to benefit you more than you ever know. So, messy action is still movement, and that movement is going to get you closer to your end goal. Um, the fire needs direction, or it burns you, right? If you let it stay and just simmer, and it's going to burn you, and it's going to make you boil over, and it's going to react, and we don't want to do that anymore. So this is where we're directing. These are tools. Each time I tell you this is a small little tool. So if you learn how to apply it directly in your life, and I like if we had conversations and you gave me specific examples, I could give you 20 examples of how to apply it daily, weekly, monthly, how to do it step by step. I literally could do it, break it down. Systemic harm, when I tell you the pattern recognition that I have is just mind blowing. Um, so I can actually do that. But when you learn how to apply it in your own life, and yes, I would help you, but once you start paying attention, noticing, you start seeing it, you can do it. And I believe in each one, teach one. So if I can teach you just a little bit and you start applying it and you start seeing change, you're going to know I know exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about now directing the fire. Uh, the real examples. These are literally real world examples. Research, learning how to self advocate, creating, art, journaling, get a canvas, start painting, speaking, just like I do. This is art. This is creation. This is energy, focused energy. It's focused on something, it's teaching, it's sharing, it's loving, right? Building, the programs, the offerings, all the things that I create. Um, Literal physical building, building a house, building a play yard, building out your garden, planting it. Um, it's all creation and it's all coming from that energy that could have been used for something else, right? Expression, talking, sharing, releasing, going, running around, jumping in the backyard, screaming in the bathroom, for a moment, right? Try not to scare the neighbors, but it happens. Like they have literal, I don't know what they're called anymore, but they're like the rage things where you go and you smash stuff and beat it up. People pay to do that. It's called release, right? Get that pent up anger out. And the person that created that, just imagine what they were going through. Imagine how they learned how to channel their anger and turn it into greatness, turn it into a payable resource, turn it into something that helped others but also allowed them to help themselves. And it starts with an idea. It starts with research. It starts with learning how to advocate yourself for yourself. But it doesn't happen until you start understanding yourself. till you start showing up for yourself, till you start validating your anger, your fear, all of those things, understanding it, validate it. You have every right to feel that. But what is it telling me? You always have to give yourself grace for it because otherwise you just pack it away, and that's how you explode. We're learning how to process it as we go. And when we process it as we go, we turn it into these things, right? Um, like my business here, I was doing my tinctures and all that stuff. I do my tea. My tinctures I couldn't do because of bureaucracy. It's not that I couldn't do them. I'm still going to do them. But there was a whole long red tape that was supposed to take this long that has ended up taking this long, which could have been an extreme hindrance in my business and been a big difference whether I'm going to make it or not, right? Like whether I'm going to be able to um, survive, right? And continue building the business. And instead, what happened was I learned that I'm really good at storytelling. I'm really good at understanding and sharing my knowledge. I'm really good at understanding systems and patterns and programs. I'm really good at creating those things. So why wouldn't I take that and pivot and do that? I can still teach you how to make your tinctures. I have the knowledge. I have the herbal knowledge. I'm constantly researching. I have all of the things that I can do to share all of the different ways. But while I'm waiting for that, I can pivot and do something else that brings me joy. And I have the capacity to do all of the things because it's something that I already have the knowledge for. So now it's just focusing that knowledge and putting it in. And what happens when you research this and you learn a bit of this, you become proficient in just about everything. And when you become a master at yourself, there's no way you can't be proficient at everything. It's just going to happen naturally. So learning how to pivot, when to pivot, those divine ideas, that inspiration, that's what it's for, right? I could have stopped. I could have did all kinds of things. I could have let it beat me down and my business is never going to make it. And I said, nah, there's so much more knowledge I have. There's so much more wisdom. There's so much understanding that I have, which is actually far greater than even the tinctures. Um, this is where I'm a master at it, right? That's why I have my free workshops. I have my one-on-one free clarity calls that actually give you the opportunity to see what I can do to help for you, right? I created all of these things that have checks and balances and all the things that allow to see the growth, to see change, to apply the change. And it took a long time to get there. It took a lot of showing up. But I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can absolutely do it. I'm feeling like you're a good person. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Is that Ether? Yeah. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate that. And I like to think I'm a pretty good person. Uh, we're not always perfect. We're human. We're gonna have bad days. We're gonna feel yucky. We're gonna have those moments. I don't want to people today. I don't want to deal with anybody. And that doesn't mean we're bad people. That just means that we're self-aware enough to understand, hey, I need a little more me time. I need a little more love in my life. Myself, Naveen. Is that your name, Naveen? Welcome. I like that name. Welcome, welcome. So this is the grace and accountability. This is really, really important because, and I'm talking about this because to get to that fire, you have to give yourself grace. You have to understand yourself to say, I need to listen here. I need to feel it. I need to understand about it. And, you know, you keep it moving. You always got to know and understand how to keep it moving, and don't let things stop you, right? The fire becoming creation, like it literally happens every single day. Every day you show up, every day you pivot, every day you learn something new. Where are you from? I'm from Canada. How about you? And then, so Grace, it's okay to be messy. You don't need to be perfect. You're learning, right? Accountability. You still take action. You don't stay in the emotion, right? You let it flow through you. You process it. You get the information. You get the understanding, and you give yourself grace for it, and that's okay. And then you move forward, and that's great. That's the most important thing you could ever do. 14441 on the clock. Thank you, Spirit. India, that's fantastic. I bet it's beautiful there. It's on the bucket. If you saw my bucket list of places I want to go in this world, it's pretty good. It's not too cold. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. The sun's coming out. It's a little chilly in the morning, which is why I still got my house coat on. Um, but well, we're 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. It's starting to get warmer out, I can tell. So, but soon we'll be outside all day, every day, and I may be doing some of these teachings outside. All right. So the next step is the action step, the accountability. This is the part that's so important. Uh, you always want to ask yourself, what is the next step? Not how do I fix everything? Okay. It's what is the next baby step? What is the next small step? Is it just figuring out, asking myself what it is I need to learn? Is it sitting down in front of the computer and researching a sentence to see? I love sunny days, but this is so cloudy. It's cloudy and rainy there. Oh, yeah, but those flowers are going to be beautiful when it comes up. And the rain is a good thing. Rain is cleansing. It really is cleansing. And you can always find something positive about the rain. And when you go outside after a fresh rain, the smell is beautiful. So, yeah, it's what's the next step? Not how do I fix everything? Uh, what's the next move? What can I do today? What is the one thing that I could do today that would help me get to my goal? Show up messy, pivot, right? What direction can I take if this isn't working right now? Where can I pivot? What can I do? Because it's all going to get me to the end result, right? Try something new. Let something inspire you. Learn something. People get stuck because they think too big, right? I don't know how to get all the way up that mountain, but I know if I take 2 or 3 steps, the next one will get a little easier. Uh, don't ask, how do I fix my life? What's one thing I can do today? It's so important. It's just little small baby steps. Is it showing up for me? Is it checking in to see what my capacity is? What are my hobbies? My hobbies are teaching, teaching and sharing ways to empower everyone else. That's my hobby. Um, yeah, so examples, write it out, say it out loud, speak your greatness into this world. Look at yourself in the mirror, those affirmations, speak it. What am I grateful for today? Man, you're beautiful. Thanks for showing up today. We got this. Everything we do today is a lesson we're learning, and we are growing stronger every single day, right? Research something, try something new, show up, even messy. Don't worry about the bloopers if you mess up, if you don't say things perfectly. Learn to laugh at yourself, and not in a negative way. Like, oh, well, that made no sense. Let me try that again. Learn how to pick up, pivot, and understand that no matter what happens, we're at our best when we can be light with it, when we can understand, process, and let it go. And then the creation is the focused energy. This is the most important part of it, right? Creation mode. When you use the fire properly, you stop feeling stuck. You start building and you create from truth, from clarity, from understanding. The same thing that overwhelmed you becomes the same thing that moves you forward. And it moves you forward with discernment, with clarity, with understanding, and most importantly, with love. So when you understand your fire, you stop reacting and you start directing. And that's when change becomes exponential. Uh, and the same thing that once overwhelmed you becomes the thing that builds your life. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to show you what matters and give you the energy to build something from it. The fire was never meant to burn you out. It was meant to build something through you. I have a couple affirmations I'm going to do at the end, but I always do this on these ones because when I give a message like this, I didn't ask your name. I love science too, actually. My name is Tiffany. Nice to meet you. I always pull a couple cards on these, and the reason I do is because when I give a message like this, Spirit loves to confirm. And by the way, I saw the angel numbers that popped up through my live that were very obvious and noticeable at just the right time, meant that there's a little extra message in here. Um, And it's always beautiful when Spirit gets to confirm exactly what you've been talking about, allowing them to add something good. Just add the little icing on the cake. That's what I look at it like. Oh, that's the one. Invoke the learning of every suffering you have suffered. If that isn't on point, I don't know. Contemplate what it might be like to allow yourself to be more vulnerable in your work environment. What growth might this inspire? In your work environment, like me, this is my work, right? Um, and I think I'm pretty good. I'm pretty vulnerable. I share what I need to share. I just don't like to trauma dump. So when things do happen, I try to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly until I learn how to understand it. I have to understand it and work my way through it and trust that I've been given the right answer along the way. And that makes a huge difference. Um, Tiffany, I will come again. Nice to meet you too. I feel better talking to you. Oh, that's so fantastic. And that really makes me happy. Just as long as even the little empowerments, people pop in and out. If what happens, they get just a little bit of love, a little empowerment, or even a smile on their face, then I'm doing the right thing. And I'm happy about that. All right, can I have one beyond Lemuria on this message? We already know that, we want to turn that fire into creation. And when we create from our passion, our drive. Solar plexus. I knew that was coming. Why does it do that? It just said reconnecting. Number four, angel number four, also is protection. You're worthy. You're enough. You are loved. You are worthy of love. Stable foundations, creating your state. There's so many, like angel number four. If you want to do a little bit of homework, look that number up. It's absolutely beautiful. This card that we got is this is where your confidence comes out. That's what solar plexus chakra is. It's not all of it, but uh, this is where it comes out. Radiant illumination, personal power, independence, self discipline, confidence, assertiveness, decision making, belief, intellectual abilities, expression of will, and bringing ideas into reality. If this isn't 1000% confirmation of what I'm talking about today, I don't know what is. The solar plexus chakra is the radiant center of our being. It holds the vibrant spark that brings our passions to life. Enter this space to step away from playing small, unworthiness, and the idea that you are taking up space and insecurity based competitiveness. Allow yourself to be attuned to the abundant life force that resides within the center and be energized, motivated, fueled with inspiration, enthused, and clear minded so you can bring forth more of yourself and what you wish to birth in the world. As you discover a deep and real sense of self empowerment, you can more confidently lift others in celebration, harmonizing differences, and shift hierarchical paradigms into collective co creation. My reading skills are not always great. I apologize. Remember that you are a powerful being who can connect with potent life force energy as and when you need it. Be aware of what fuels your fire and consider circumstances where you had your power where you gave your power away. Imagine all the fragments of your energy that you have given away at some point and bring them back to the center of your being, your power, and where are you putting your energy. When you focus that energy into you and understanding you and start learning you and trusting you, of course you're going to be more confident. Of course, you're going to be able to bring things into this world. Of course, you're going to be just inspired and trust yourself. Those little ideas, those flashes, those memories, all of those great things, when they come into play, what's going to happen? You're going to be empowered and you're going to be driven immediately to do it because you're going to trust yourself because you already know your patterns, you know what triggers you, you know what upsets you, and you know how to focus that energy. This is by far my most favorite part. There's many things. You got to sit in the stillness after you started creating. There's things that are uncomfortable. There are things that are not comfortable. But this is the most empowering part of it all because you have the ability to focus it. You get to take the action. Sometimes there's times where you have to take no action and you got to sit with it. And you just got to let it happen. And you got to trust that everything you built is already continuing to build itself and let it be. And that's the hardest one, especially if you're someone like me who's do. And then you have to wait, what? I gotta do what? I have to let it roll. I have to trust. What? That's the hard part. This is the fun part. This is the greatest part. This is the absolute most fun of all of the lessons, of all of the teaching, of all the things that could happen. One. Didn't I say that already? Showed up on that one. I knew that was going to come out. Wish come true. Fortune, patience, flow, self discovery, manifestation, new beginnings, and initiative. A lucky break is on the way. This could manifest as joyful news, transformative experiences, new opportunities, or an exciting new relationship. You'll find yourself in the right place at the perfect time. This isn't mere coincidence, it's a gift from fate. Embrace this blessing and be open to the wonderful changes it will bring into your life. Just like I said, 1111. Every single time you learn how to focus that energy, when you take that time to know and understand and trust you, it's a new day. It's a new beginning and everything changes. Every time you get to make a new choice, you make a different decision, and it doesn't end in disaster and chaos. You're learning to focus that energy. Every time you celebrate it and every time you show up a little bit more, you become more and more empowered. You become more and more inspired because you're able to receive and listen and trust yourself enough to show up and take those inspired ideas and run with them and trust that it's going to work out good. Even if something isn't perfect, you're going to learn so much more. And the pivot and all the things you're going to learn from that point is just driving you to your greatness. Millionaires, billionaires, all those people. Do you think they just came out with one idea and it was there and they did it and it was amazing? No. They had to fail and figure it out, and this screwed up and that screwed up. They had to learn how to pivot, adjust. They had to find the right connections, the right people that understood what they were talking about, how it was. It took a lot of divine connections. It took a lot of um, serendipitous meetings. It took a lot of trust, a lot of faith, a lot of showing up, a lot of pivoting, a lot of not giving up on yourself. We all have the same potential, the same capability, the same understandings as every single one of those millionaires and billionaires. We all have it. We just have to learn how to focus it, how to trust it. And how does that happen? Of course, we learn ourselves. We learn our triggers. We learn our good, bad, ugly. We start understanding that the bad and ugly is where our driving force is. It's actually our superpower when we know how to use it to our best instead of reacting to it. When we start being proactive and understanding it and using it to our advantage, it's everything in the whole world. It's literally our driving force and it's our superpower, and we should be using it as much as possible. I can control the world. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. And when you perceive it through fear, guilt, shame, all of those things, what happens? You hinder yourself. You weigh yourself down. You don't even allow yourself the space to shine. Every single one of us has so much shine. We're brighter than the sun. We start paying attention to it. We start focusing it and start using it to our advantage. I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. It's okay. Everything doesn't have to be right. You just got to show up. You got to do it messy. You got to be understand that I trust myself. Even if I get it wrong, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna continue moving forward. And I'm gonna do the best I can. And every single time, I know that everything I did, good, bad, or ugly, I did it with love and with the best of intention. Right? If I mess up, I'm gonna do my best to make it right. We're not just like, oh, I screwed up. Too bad for you. No, we try to better ourselves. We try to find a way because that's your integrity. That's who you are as a person. And when you show up and you trust yourself, you know that. You don't fear those things because if something happens, I will fix it. I will make it right. Because we're not going around trying to hinder somebody. Our intention is good. Our intentions are pure. They're honest, and they're very well led because you understand the pros and the cons, and you do your very best to make informed decisions. You're not just taking wild guesses. You're doing the research. You're figuring it out as you go, um, which is empowering, which is how you trust yourself. Every single time it came from that inspired idea. 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 It came from that inspired idea They came from you focusing that anger, fear, shame, guilt, taking that energy and saying, "No, you don't get to have me today. You don't get to weigh me down today. I'm not afraid of you. I trust me and I love me and I'm going to show up." So now I get to take that and I'm going to focus it into something I love, something that drives me, that brings me joy every single day. And when that happens, at the end of it, what happens? You look on the other side and you go, "Man, that energy was well used. I'm getting good at this and I'm going to keep getting better at this." That's empowerment if I ever saw it. That's confidence at its best. And you earned it because you showed up every single day and you learned exactly what it took to drive you, to force you, to show you to get there, to keep you going when nobody else gave a shit, to keep you going when people weren't sure what to do with it. You learned enough about yourself to figure out what it was, how to drive you. And it is the driving force that will be make or break. When you learn how to focus that, you can do anything in this world. And these are some of the affirmations. I always say these ones for last because I'm the queen of affirmations and they absolutely bring me the most joy you're ever going to know. Um, I turn what I feel into something that moves me forward. It's so easy. If it sticks, just one of these sticks, and you start saying it here, there, and everywhere, wait, just start saying it and watch how things show up differently. Watch how these little ideas start popping into your head, and you're like, where'd that come from? And you start showing up a little bit more. And before you know it, you got a whole nother idea, a whole nother part of your business, a whole nother structure that's amazing and so good and going to help so many people. And of course, it's going to take off because you trusted yourself enough to understand that it was meant to be there. And you only heard it, you only received it because you started to trust yourself and understand that you were worthy of receiving it. The universe said, "Here you go. Here's your gift. You showed up for you today. You trusted in you today. You did the work for you today. Here's my gift to you." That's how it works. Because that flow of giving and receiving never stops. Because when you show up, even when you're giving to yourself, you're still giving. And when you give to yourself and you learn how to receive it and use it and apply it, you're learning how to receive too. So even if you don't know how to receive from everybody else just yet, you're learning how to give and receive from yourself. You fill your own cup and you keep that going. Then when people add into it and they start filling your cup, it's overflowing all the time. You have all of this energy and all of this inspiration and all of these ideas and all of these things that you can do to help others because you started to show up for you. You started to understand you. You started to learn how to focus it. 202. Thank you, Spirit. It's so important. I use my fire to create, not to destroy. Best affirmation ever. I use what I feel to create what I need. What you feel is almost always going to be your pathway to show you exactly what you need. And when you start to understand what you need, you start to understand, well, if I need it, many other people in this world need it too. I cannot be the only one. And that's when your people start to find you. That's when people start showing up. That's when all the people that have been looking for just that answer that you might have for them start showing up. My challenges fuel my growth and creation. These are affirmations that literally teach you, teach yourself how to turn your pain, how to turn all that stuff into power. That's why I talk about this, turning your pain into power. Because the idea is not that you have to, once you've built that foundation and once you understand, you never go below it. You know how many times I had to crawl through the mud and go in the trenches and the ditches and try to figure it out? I had to do it with people kicking me while I was down, laughing at me, shaming me, humiliating me. I still had to do it. But I got to a space where it didn't matter what they took from me. It didn't matter what happened because my foundation was strong. My trust, my understanding, my knowledge of myself, my triggers, my patterns, how I treat people, how I behave, how I respond, how I react, all of those things because I knew that what drives me to create, to learn, to understand how that works for me. I learned that. So no matter whatever happens out here, I can never go lower than here. I'm not back in the ditches. I'm not self sabotaging. I'm not in the trenches. I'm not punishing myself because you can't go farther than here. And then each time you learn and you grow, that foundation becomes a little taller and a little taller. Before you know it, you built your own tower. You built your own house, your own field, your all of it. Okay, you built your own. And you can't go lower than that because you're rising from knowledge. You're rising from wisdom, from experience. And once you have that, nobody can take that from you. And you never have to go back down because you don't have to relearn it. You understand it and know it so thoroughly. When you step forward, it's confidence. It's, I got this. No matter what happens along the way, I'm going to pivot, learn, grow, and that's going to only benefit me. I'm not scared anymore. That fire turning to creation is the best part of all of this. When you learn to understand it and trust it, my God, the things you can change will literally change the world. Give me one more affirmation. I trust that my intuition is always leading me in the right direction. Thank you, Spirit. I'm telling you, you already have the tools. I just want to help you notice them, learn them, understand them, uh, and apply them in your life. Because when you do, absolute miracles can happen. Your absolute greatness is just next door. You just got to show up, keep showing up, and I promise you that door is going to open. I love you guys. On Friday, I will be on for the next one, which is the still point. It's kind of a yuck. It's not yucky. It's just a understanding. Understanding it. It does take a moment, but this is the fun part. The other one isn't as much fun. It's the waiting part, but it's learning to understand it so you don't sabotage, especially in the middle of creating. That one will be this Friday. I'll be live a couple more times this week because I have to do like my fire signs and all that with your action steps, how you can show up for yourself, what you're learning, things that are a little easier to put into practice with the moon signs. We all have the planetary alignments help us maybe be a little more loving, be a little more this, a little more that, because each one has its own thing. And I like to do those. So the rest of this week and this weekend will be that. But Friday will be the next one in this series. It's almost over, and then I'm gonna stop teaching courses and stuff. I'll still be doing my counseling, my free workshop. By the way, it will be in the description below. Or you can go to my website at creativelyguided.ca. All of that information is always there. Um, it's a free workshop. I have one-on-one clarity calls. See if I can help you in any other way. Help you be a little more directed, understand you at your very best. All that information is there, and it's in my bio here, I believe, also. But I'll be on Friday for that, and I'll be on a couple more times this week. So I love you guys. I appreciate you for showing up. Please, no matter what you take out of this, empowerment, gratitude, if you're not even sure where to start, if you don't know what to do, if you feel lost, look yourself in the mirror and say, "It's okay. It's okay that I feel lost. I'm learning. I'm trying to understand." Speak to yourself. Let your face, let your eyes see your mouth. Let your soul hear your mouth speaking your greatness into the world. Because I promise you, your body will follow. Every time you show up and every time you do it, you empower yourself more and more. I love you guys. I hope this helps. I did it under 2.5 hours. Say yesterday was 3 hours. All the chit chat and stuff. I can't help it, but it will be clipped out so you get some the knowledge a little shorter, a little easier to digest. But for those that showed up on the live, for those that hung out with me, for those that worked while they were listening to me, I appreciate you more than you know. Um, and if you did get something out of it, if something rang true, if something made you feel empowered, gave you a little extra strength, something piqued your curiosity about what you can do to better yourself, um, how you can get that shift, how you can get unstuck because things feel like you're not going anywhere. You probably are going somewhere, you're just not sure yet, and holding your own self back with indecision. If there's things like that that I can help you with, please go to my website, check it out. All the links are in my description. There are many, many ways that I can help you and that I would love to help you. Um, So check him out, and I will see you. Well, maybe this afternoon, but for sure tomorrow. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Remember, affirmations. I love me. I love you. Say it over and over and over. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. Have a good day, guys.